Welcome to another episode of Craig the Geologist After Dark. After Dark. Tonight I want to give you just a broad overview of the kind of fluorescent minerals you can find in the Great Lakes region. Now, this isn't going to be exhaustive, but I do have a pretty good selection here. And a lot of you guys are thinking, well, yeah, uprolites are what we look for with a black light. But there's actually quite a bit more that you can find if you keep your eyes peeled. And so let's have a look at that. Let's start shining a light. Now, when you're out uprolite hunting, or hunting for any fluorescent minerals on a beach or anywhere else, you want a fairly powerful light. But when you're looking at stuff close up, and especially when you're trying to capture it on camera, having a blindingly bright light is not helpful. It hurts your eyes. The camera can't capture it. So small little pen light like this, much handier close up. So let's have a look at some of these guys. So this is meant to be just a brief overview of some of the stuff you'll find on our Great Lakes shorelines if you're out there using a long wave UV light. You get a lot of fossils out there. You will find various things. We've got some bryozoans there. Got a fossil coral there. Ignore that green one. That's not local to the Great Lakes. These oddly colored ones, the purple, the red, those are slag glass. Those are associated with the iron smelting industry and a lot of the waste that was dumped on our shorelines. That's a piece of maybe asphalt, although when you look at it in daylight, it sure doesn't look like asphalt. So it's a mystery piece I really enjoy. See some fossils here. Got a gastropod in that one. The pink, the orangish pink, that is calcite, and you will find a lot of that here. The calcite in lower Michigan doesn't tend to glow very much, but in the Keweenaw area and in a lot of parts of the world, you do get a nice rich pink color to the calcites when you shine a long wave UV light on it. The camera does have some trouble focusing. It doesn't like dark conditions and it doesn't like UV light. But here, when it does come in focus, you can see there's another fossil there. That's the inside of a brachiopod. Here we've got some corals, some Petoskey stones that are in pretty rough condition, but they really show up brightly under a UV light. Some more gastropods and other fossils. The purples are more slag glass from iron smelting. Here we've got a death plate. It looks very plain, just not a whole lot to see under regular daylight. And you shine the UV light on it, and it just lights up brilliantly. In fact, let's have a daylight comparison. You can see just how better they show up during the evening with the UV light than they do during regular daylight hours. Over here, we're looking at our fossils, our fossil soup style stones. And as you can see, there's not much you can see under visible light with those. All right, let's have a look at those fossils. Here we got some coral. Here are some Petoskey stones. Some Charlevoix stone coral here. But here's that death plate with all that beautiful bryozoan and shell material mixed in. And here's another. You can see these are rocks that you would pass right over in visible light. Nothing about these really stand out to you until you shine a UV light on them. And then all those fossils just pop right out at you. Now, of course, we're into the uprolites. And this is the big thing that everyone's looking for when they get their UV lights on the shores of our Great Lakes. If you're expecting something to shine purely orange, you're going to be surprised because sodalite is not even one of the main components in these fluorescent cyanites. These are granite style rocks that just happen to have fluorescent sodalite sitting in them. And so it's the fluorescent sodalite that shines bright orange, not the entire rock itself. All right, over here we've got euprolites. This is what they look like under visible light. Not very impressive, not very beautiful. They're pretty boring looking, grayish rocks, often black speckled. These are cyanites. Now let's have a look at those boring looking euprolites with UV light shining on them. Really shine up very nicely. All right, right here I've got a little baggie full of what is mostly slag glass that I collected from the Leland area. These are Leland blues that are not very blue at all, but it is the same slag glass. And what we found when we were collecting out there a few years ago is that the duller color it is during the daylight hours, the more boring it is under visible light, the brighter and more interestingly it shines under UV light. So most of these are very gray, kind of dark obsidian looking color. And then under UV light, they just light right up. We turn the UV light on those boring looking slag glasses that are very, very plain. They don't jump out at you at all on the beach during daylight, visible light times. But with UV light, they light right up. Well, I hope that gave you a better idea of the things you can be looking for when you're out on our shores at night. In the Great Lakes region, there's a whole range of fluorescent minerals, and there likely is where you are too. What those are, depending on where you are in the world, probably very different from what you saw here. But keep your eyes peeled and buy the right tools. Get yourself a nice, good quality, long-range UV flashlight. Filtered 365 is what you want in the Great Lakes region. And you do get what you pay for. So if you go on Amazon and you buy like a cheap $7 or $8 flashlight, it's not going to do the job. Even if its specs say that it will do the job, I've bought many in the past that just failed absolutely. You want to get at least a $35 or $40 light. I have a lumen shooter. It does a great job. I think that's about the cheapest good quality light you can get. And of course, they can go up to $100. But honestly, lumen shooter will do the job for you. It may not be the best one. You know, it won't light up a square mile for you, but you will find some great stuff with it. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Craig the Geologist After Dark. After Dark.